Bullets. Not cartridges, but bullets. Throughout history, we've made some pretty crazy developments in the bullet world, coming up with a specific bullet for pretty much any application that behaves in a way that produces, give or take, the exact result for whatever it is you need it to. Anywhere from bullets that expand or explode on contact, causing a devastating wound without over-penetrating, to sabot rounds that allow you to shoot a .22 caliber bullet out of your .30 caliber rifle without ever having to change a barrel, if you'll believe it. And whatever you're trying to accomplish, there's probably a bullet out there just for you. And that's what I want to go over today. So if that sounds cool to you, stick around and maybe I can learn you something. Howdy do, folks, and welcome back to Chambered in History. We're going over the story of cartridges that made history themselves. From back of the drawer relics to big bore bruisers, we're cracking open the brass cases and spilling out the history. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and hit that subscribe button to now get us to 3,000 subscribers, because you people are amazing and we've already hit 2,000 subscribers. I can't possibly thank you enough, but here's a shot. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You've made this so much fun. I mean, sure, I would probably still be doing it if it wasn't doing this well, but the fact that it is just makes it so much more worth it. It's been awesome. I can't wait to grow this channel even more to where we're maybe doing some cooler stuff in the future, because I'd really like to get to where we're shooting some of the stuff that we're talking about. But for now, we'll just talk about it because talk is free. I also have one more little announcement. It's kind of a request, but that's besides the point. I need a logo for the channel. First, because I need something for the channel to be recognized by, and second, because I'd like to make some merch. And if that sounds cool to y'all, that's great for me, you know. I'd like to make some shirts, some hats. I don't know what else. It's the only thing I've come up with right now. It's the two main things you do. So I was gonna ask if you guys wouldn't mind helping me out with that and maybe coming up with some designs if you're, you know, artsy, or hell, even if you're not. I was trying to get my very gifted and talented girlfriend to do it, but I can't seem to get her to do it. So I'm asking you guys to see what you guys can come up with. So if you wouldn't mind, please help me. I was thinking whoever's design I go with will get like either like a free shirt or maybe a whole package of merchandise. Send it to you for free. You'll get the first one. Also had the idea to do like a giveaway or something where you buy a shirt and you enter to win. I haven't decided what the prize would be, but I think it would be cool to do a little giveaway, you know. If that's something y'all be interested, if you'd want to buy a shirt anyway, you might as well be able to enter a giveaway. So I think that would be cool. So if y'all don't mind, send me your ideas. I will have my email down below, or it's probably been above my head this whole time. So I don't know how else to get pictures from people. So this is what I'm going with. It might be a bad idea, but I don't know. So please send me your ideas. I would love to see them. But without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start with what's considered the first full metal jacket bullet. Created in 1882 by a Swiss engineer named Eduardo Rubin, he decided to take a soft lead bullet and encase it in a harder copper alloy, therefore allowing the bullet to travel significantly faster without the risk of deformation, as well as stopping the lead itself from gumming up the barrel from either friction and heat, or the barrel itself just tearing up the lead, because lead is soft, and this was an issue they were running into quite often. Not to mention, with the invention of smokeless powder shortly thereafter, that improved performance at higher velocities really came in handy. Then, also soon thereafter in 1898, we got the Spitzer bullet, otherwise known as the Spire Point. With a further understanding of aerodynamics in Europe, French Captain Georges Raymond Desailly took it upon himself to create an elongated, pointy bullet to improve their performance as it flew through the air, cutting down drag and wind resistance, thus allowing the slug to fly further, maintain their speed, and greatly improve accuracy, especially at longer ranges. Georges had also figured out in 1901 that when a straight, flat-bottom bullet is flying through the air, that a vacuum is created on the back, slowing down the bullet and killing its momentum. This is where the boat tail feature came from in our bullets today. Now all this came together to create a bullet known as the Baldi, or Baladi. I'll put a picture in the name here so you at least know how it's spelled versus how I'm saying it. And became the standard issue round for the 1886 Lebel rifle during World War I. And that's pretty much how the modern bullet got its shape. We have more to go over, but I wanted to go over the general development of what we generally see in the modern day and what we use now, because though all those designs I just mentioned have maintained, all rifle rounds pretty much have that design. So I thought it was important that we go over it before we get into the more specifically designed rounds for specific purposes. The hollow point, one of many staples in the bullet design world, and I'd say one of the oldest. Now, the first early examples of hollow points, believe it or not, were intended to simply reduce bullet weight and express loads to allow for higher velocity. But those who used and tested them quickly realized that they also happen to do a lot more damage due to that expansion that we get from hollow points. Later improved in 1890 and first called the Dum Dum bullet, as it was created by the British arsenal in Dum Dum, India, hollow point bullets were created to expand on impact and stay inside of their target, thus causing a lot more damage. Because they were starting to have a problem with these new jacketed bullets that, while yes, they didn't get tore up as easy and they flew further, they tended to pass straight through the target without doing much damage and basically leaving a pinhole wound. So when bullet designers stumbled upon this design, albeit not what it was made for, they took note. So as you may know, they basically just carve out a cavity in the end of the bullet, therefore giving it much more surface area, and upon impact, it would mushroom, doing a lot more damage. They're also extremely useful for just the simple fact that they don't overpenetrate, making them ideal for home defense when you want holeless walls, or at the very least, less holy walls. Pellet hunters who need their harvest to be in as good a condition as possible, because obviously one hole is better than two when you need to sell the skin of the animal you shot, as well as for police and air marshals for when you have either bystanders or you don't want to put a hole in the plane that you're flying in. But more on that in a second. We also have a weird little bullet design known as the wad cutter, created by C.C. Himmelwright in 1900, though not commercially available until 1910. It was designed specifically for target shooting competitions, as its shape created much more readable holes in paper targets. The name itself was derived from the fact that when you shot a paper target with it, it would cut a perfect hole of the size of whatever caliber you were shooting with it. Now, due to their less aerodynamic design, the wad cutter is really only made to shoot within short ranges, like 25 yards or so. The rounds would also offer pretty low recoil, as they were often loaded pretty light, making them ideal for new shooters, young shooters, and again, competition shooters. I mean, you don't need that much power when all you're killing is paper. Another cool way I've seen wad cutters being used, which seems to be what they're used for a lot nowadays, is trick shots, especially the card splitting trick, where you take a card and you flip it this way and you try to split it that way. Recently, I've been getting a lot of shorts on YouTube from the MDT channel where they're doing it at like 200 yards with their rifles. Those guys are freaking tag drivers, man. They're doing some crazy stuff over there. But anyway, now you also have something called a semi-wad cutter, which is pretty much just a flat nose bullet, or if you took a regular bullet and a wad cutter and they had a baby. But it's made for making those longer range shots on your paper targets for competitions and such. Both semi and full wad cutters alike also happen to do quite a bit of damage when loaded at higher velocities due to their rapid expansion, making them ideal for, again, home defense and hunting. Now for our next one, we're kind of coming back to the hollow point because we're onto the ballistic tip, which is basically just a hollow point with a piece of plastic inserted into the hollow part of the bullet, thus giving it back its more aerodynamic pointed design, improving accuracy, as well as giving the bullet something solid to drive into it, causing even more rapid expansion and an even shorter distance, thus causing more damage. Now, typically you'd see a ballistic tip being used in a rifle round, because you're usually dealing with a very fast-moving round that needs a little help with expanding upon impact. But there are other reasons for using a plastic or polymer-tipped round. For example, some manufacturers have started implementing the design in their pistol rounds because a lot of pistols seem to have trouble cycling hollow pointed bullets. So if you put that polymer tip back in the end of it, it aids in cycling, and so it doesn't get caught or anything. Another similar example would be the Glazier Safety Slug, designed in 1975, made with the goal of even further controlling overpenetration. The round started its life as a hollow pointed, very thin jacketed bullet filled with number 12 birdshot. And the idea was that when the round impacted its target, it would fragment almost immediately and disperse all of the birdshot in its target, therefore very quickly expending all of its energy and never overpenetrating. These rounds would come in both pistol and rifle calibers, and you could get it all the way up to 45 caliber in pistols and all the way up to 30-06 in rifles. Later, in 1987, a polymer tip was added to aid in both feeding and expansion. Now, there were two different versions you could get of this round. You had the blue version, which was the one we just went over with the number 12 birdshot, and you also had the number 6 version, which came with number 6 birdshot, therefore offering slightly more penetration, but still not over penetrating. Speaking of color, would y'all be interested in a video about like the different color tipped bullets for military application? I thought of it while I was writing this video, or writing this script. And I was gonna add it all in here under the ballistic tip area, but it would be like, most of the video would be the ballistic tip. So I figured it kind of deserves its own video. So if that's something y'all would be interested in, let me know. Okay, now we arrive at a type of bullet that I honestly didn't even know existed until a couple weeks ago, and that is the small arm sabot rounds. Now, sabots are typically used in larger munitions like tank rounds or even in our modern day muzzleloaders, but what if I told you they've made them for our regular old centerfires? It's true, and the cartridge that introduced me to this concept was the 30-06 Accelerator created by Remington in 1977. Now, what this was is a 30-06 case, not neck down, but used a plastic sabot and a 55 grain 22 caliber bullet to achieve 4,080 feet per second, which is pretty fast. Now, this wasn't the only one they made though. They also, in later years, made a 30-30 and 308 version, with the 30-30 achieving 3,400 feet per second and the 308 version achieving 3,800 feet per second, at least from the loads that I could find. Unfortunately, due to the inconsistent performance and difficulty to manufacture, the cartridge was eventually discontinued. The inconsistent performance apparently was because the sabot would not always detach it the same way every time, and it was very inaccurate. Some people were saying they were getting 4-inch groups at 100 yards, which is garbage. So I get why it got discontinued if it was performing like crap. Another issue was apparently the bullet's untraceable attribute. See, when they find a bullet at a murder scene or a crime scene, what they'll do is they'll take it, they'll examine it, and they'll try to match it with the rifling of the bullet or the gun that it was shot from. But the problem is when you have a barrier between the bullet and the barrel, it's a little bit harder to do that. So a lot of people were concerned that an assassin could use these rounds to get away with murder despite its lack of accuracy. Although this probably wasn't really a key factor in the discontinuation of it, but it's something. People were concerned about it. So there you have it, folks. Now, obviously, this wasn't every type of bullet design out there, but once again, I just wanted to try this out, do a video on it. I thought it would be interesting to do, and if it does really well, I'll do another one because, again, I had a lot of fun making this video just like I did the last one. So, again, if this does well, we'll do another one. So let me know. Like I also mentioned earlier, I think I want to do the next one over what the different colors mean for military rounds, because while I was researching this one, I found a lot of information on that. And then I think I'd also like to do a video similar to the last one, but specifically with 30 calibers, because y'all have given me a lot to look into. Like, there's a lot out there that I didn't know about. So I think the next one will be a 30 caliber specific super speed video or whatever. And then maybe a 17 caliber after that, because there's also a bunch of 17 calibers that are pretty fast. So we'll probably do a couple more like that, especially since the last one was pretty much a 22 only video. So I think I can do a 30 caliber video and then a 17 caliber video and so on and so forth. So, we kind of have things planned out. I do need to do a couple more history videos, but I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun doing these, so this might be where the channel's going. I don't know though. So if all that sounds pretty cool to y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and hit that subscribe button, because again, we are now trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. Because once again, you people are amazing, and I already hit 2,000, which is amazing. I can't stress that enough. I'm so happy. But we're growing slowly but surely. So until then, keep your powder dry, your brass polished, and always stay chambered in history. Thank you.